All right, here we go again. Once again, we are back live on Ray on Sports. I am your host, Johnny Ray, coming to you live from the West Campus. Got my man in here today. We're gonna talk some sports. We're gonna talk some hoops. We might even talk a little NBA today. So right now, what I got going on right now, I got my man Arquill Sayles III coming on in. Come on in, Arquill.
Yes, sir.
A little bit louder, Quill. A little bit louder. A little bit louder.
Hello. Can you hear me okay? Sound
Yes,
check.
sir. Yes, sir. I got you. I got you. I got you. And also, we still returning back to the show. Big Mike.
You know how it is. You know how we get down. We're doing it big up in here. Good to hear my guy Quilly. Oh,
Yes,
my goodness.
sir.
Quilly is in the heezy.
Quilly is in the heezy.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. And you guys can chime in as you see fit. We're just gonna talk about it right now. First thing we're gonna talk about is coaching firing.
Oh,
Ty Lue got fired from Clippers. No, I'm just playing, Quilly. I'm just playing.
Hey, that would have been news to me.
you know Quilly ain't trying to let Ty Lue go. They need to let that dude go. Come on over to the Lakers, Ty Lue.
Nah, we don't need to do that at all.
Yeah,
Why not? Why not? Come on, talk about it, Quilly.
Why would we give him to y'all?
Because we need a coach.
We need a coach
Hey,
bad.
go find it somewhere else.
We need
not
a
over
coach
here.
We
bad.
need a coach.
Now
Not even
the
gonna
the
find
rumblings I
somewhere.
heard about the firing, the rumblings I heard was no rotation. The rotation is bad.
Right.
Not calling timeouts
Mm.
and just not enough. I guess not enough championship DNA in them from Darvingham. That's what I'm hearing.
And losing to the Denver Nuggets.
Man,
Well, yeah, of course, losing don't help.
No, losing is terrible.
You know, he also was not making adjustments at all.
right.
That's
There
true.
would be schemes that teams were finding that worked good against the Lakers, even in the playoff series, and there were no adjustments that would come from the Lakers to, combat those schemes.
That's true.
Now I don't know
you
if
have to be able to make adjustments.
I don't know if you guys saw the first game of the Timberwolves Nuggets series, but they made adjustments.
Yeah,
They made.
yeah.
Remember we talked about that dog Ant?
Yes, sir.
That's that dog.
That dude was.
That's
But-
that dog.
What got me, and I looked at it, it was the coaching of the Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
The adjustments they made on Murray.
Right.
First they had Ant on him, and then they went with was that McDaniels? Is that who it is?
Jaden
Right.
McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels. He got on him, and Murray went 0 for 7 in the first half.
Man, they put somebody on him.
They put 2 people on him.
But you know what? Also, it has something to do with youth. All right, the young people, right? I love LeBron. Don't get me wrong. LeBron can ball. 40 years old, he's out there doing it. Don't get me wrong. Now, here we go.
What did it say?
LeBron James, he can do it. Don't get me wrong. However, this is a young man's game.
Right.
This is a young man's game. And if you cannot guard somebody in the NBA during the playoff season, your team is destined to lose.
Right.
Right.
Don't get me wrong on that, because I am of the firm belief that, man, I can hear that already downstairs,
Right.
huh?
Right.
They having a good time. Listen, we in the house. We ain't no professionals up in here. We just doing it big in the house. It's a house setting. But if you cannot play no D,
Right.
you gonna lose.
Right.
You gonna lose. Shooting is shooting. But if you can't lock nobody down for a few minutes, your team's gonna lose.
Right.
If you cannot rebound the ball, you're gonna lose. Right? If
Right.
you can't play no D on the perimeter, you're gonna lose. And so who them young cats? What's their name again?
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves. My goodness, them dudes, man, they young and they hungry.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
They hungry.
Yep.
So
Now, Quilly, let me ask you this:
Yes, sir.
you're Ant-Man. Now, Ant-Man made a quote that said he can look at somebody in the eyes and tell him what he gonna do with him. He gonna take him to the hole. He gonna shoot that 3. Talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Well, me personally, I think Anthony Edwards is out there looking like 84 Jordan.
Yeah.
Man.
I think
Ooh.
he definitely has the motor.
Ooh.
If he gets
Ooh.
going downhill, if he turns that corner
Ooh.
downhill,
It's a wrap.
It's a bad sight for
Mm.
anybody in the paint.
Talk about it, Quilly. Talk about it, Quilly.
And he's dominating the mid-range game, which is kind of a lost art nowadays within the NBA. He's playing the mid-range game a lot. In that game yesterday against Denver, he had about 10, I think 8 or 10 field goal attempts from the mid-range.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where he, primarily lives.
Right.
He had 4 shots from 3, but predominantly he's in the mid-range and he's getting to the key. And I think that is kind of a difference with Anthony Edwards than we see in a lot of the young guys today. Is, he's trying to get to the cup. He's not worried about trying to be Steph Curry or trying to be KD or none of that. He's trying to get to the rack. And yeah, he's definitely the guy. He's definitely the number one option. You have Karl Anthony Towns, who's liable to go for 40 at any given moment. Being a 6'10" stretch big that can kind of do everything. But Anthony Edwards has the motor and has the drive and the mentality to be the leader of that team. Even though he's only 23 right now, he's on the same trajectory Jordan was at 23 for sure.
Now let me tell you. Now let me Quilly. I'm gonna jump all the way on your back. Ant-Man is that dog.
Man.
Yes, sir.
He is a straight dog. When I say dog, I'm talking about give me the ball, get out my way. I'm getting ready to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. And the thing is, can't nobody stop him.
Right.
No.
When I see him play, I'm so impressed. Like Quilly said, he is Jordan-esque.
Yeah, he is.
Right. He is Jordan-esque. He is the type of player that can take over a game. So he had 43 and 7. First game in Denver.
Yep. Road.
Yeah, right.
Game 1.
Right.
Do you
Came out
understand
there
me?
hooping.
Right.
First of all, 43 mile high.
Right.
Yeah.
Where players get winded.
Yep. And he got winded. He got winded in that second quarter. He got winded. But then I think when he took that break and he realized what was going on, he got it back. He's like, oh yeah, it's a little, because he said after the game, he said it was a little tough atmosphere to play in Denver, that high altitude and all the stuff like that. But when you got that dog in you,
got that dog. See, now here's the thing. So I'm looking at his line, right? So he played 42 minutes. The game is only 48 minutes. Right? Regular 4-quarter game is 48 minutes. 12 minutes a quarter, right? 48 minutes. His field goal percentage was 58.6. He shot 58% from the field. That is outstanding.
man,
Yeah, that's efficient.
That's efficient.
that's efficient.
3-point range, right? I think he shot 42, almost 43%, 100% from the free throw line. Look, mile high where you're supposed to, your legs get heavy,
Right.
you get winded, all the factors that factor into playing in Denver that nobody's used to except Denver. He goes out there and defies gravity,
Man, tears it up.
right? Killing them dudes. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, a steal,
Ooh.
43 points.
Ooh. And you know what that block was on? One of them blocks was on.
Was it on Jokic?
It was on Porter. Michael Porter was trying to go to the hole
Yeah,
on him.
he met MPJ at the rim.
Met him at the rim.
Let me tell you something. More than the block, that's saying, hey, dude, I'm in your house.
Right. I'm sitting on your couch.
I'm sitting on your couch.
I'm opening your refrigerator.
You can't stop me. I'm kicking your door in.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. But
Now-
I think one of the, sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah,
Johnny.
no,
I think
go,
one
you
of the deciding factors of this series that's going to be different from the Lakers series is the containment of Michael Porter Jr.
Right.
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 The Lakers was letting MPJ do whatever he wanted
Oh,
out
my
there on the
goodness.
perimeter.
Mhm.
Do whatever he wanted. I think he averaged 25 in that Lakers series.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And I saw
like
all
25 and
25
8.
of them.
An efficient 25 and 8 at that.
I saw all 25.
Yeah, but that's because of the Lakers' lack of perimeter defense. They just don't have perimeter defense.
Black. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm
Lack of
saying.
perimeter
Ain't no dogs
defense.
on that team.
No dogs on that team.
Except for
missing
LeBron.
Jared Vanderbilt. Missing Jared Vanderbilt was
Yeah.
a big blow for them.
Yeah.
'Cause he was their perimeter defense. Outside of that, you got Austin Reeves and D'Lo, who aren't doing anything.
But let me say this. So Vando was available for the last game. If this is my last game and I'm the coach, I'm throwing everybody out there.
But
I mean,
he didn't know it was his last game.
And you gotta realize how long it's been since Vando played.
Right, and I got that. But you in a 3-1 hole, you in their house. I'm throwing everything I can just to disrupt the rotation. Do something.
Give me 5 minutes, Vandy.
At least.
Give me 5 minutes.
Just give me 5
minutes. Can you run up and down the court 5 minutes, please?
But,
Right.
Hey, we're talking about the king of not making adjustments here.
Oh
Right.
my goodness.
Right.
That's why he's not making adjustments. He's gonna stand on the sideline with his hands in his pocket, like he did all season.
I could have did that.
Man, decimated.
I could have did that.
Now,
Right.
both of you, what adjustments would you have made in that series?
Go ahead, Uncle Mike.
Well, one adjustment it'd have been a mindset change. Be more aggressive.
Okay.
Right? Don't allow anybody to get past you. Right? Okay, so we made a reference to Michael Jordan. Okay, so Michael Jordan is my generation. So when we were growing up playing basketball, if somebody got by you, you fouling them.
Right.
You gonna go to the line.
Exactly.
Right? And so you gotta have that mentality where I'm gonna play some D on you. And if I got the kick, trip, right, that's the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so there had to have been a mentality change where, and that could come from the coach, right? And the coach said, "Hey, you better get out there and do what you're supposed to do. Let's go."
Right.
Right. But to me, they were playing like they were already defeated.
Yeah, they were.
And that's hard to beat.
And that could be two ways. That could be they were playing like they were defeated, or let's get this dude out of here, so let's go ahead and lose this thing.
Right.
It could have been that.
Now, you know what? D-Lo didn't hardly show up. And so I probably would have sat him down.
Right.
That would have been an adjustment I made because, one, D-Lo is not the fastest dude on the court.
No.
So when he's balling, but I need quickness.
Right.
Right? So when you playing, because defense wins championship. When you're playing D, I need some quickness out there. So I'm going to put somebody that's quick out there. Now, given the Lakers were decimated with injuries, but that's still no excuse. I would have needed AD to step up on Jokic and just, man, body that dude. And so even to the point, if you got to foul out, all right, whatever. But then there's a question is, and people are asking this question, and you asked me last week, Johnny, did the presence of the LeBron halt the productivity of AD? I'm gonna say no, because if you're an NBA player and you a baller, you a baller. Just it's enough balls out there for everybody. Everybody can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna get your looks, you're gonna get your opportunity. Then you got to be determined to get it off the board. Right. So there's no ball that's gonna come off the back of the back of the rim, and I'm not getting it.
Right. Anticipation.
Right. And determination.
Yep.
So some of the changes I would have made, some of the adjustments I would have made would have been, of course, schemes. You look at schemes, and I probably would have deferred to LeBron. LeBron, what you see, because LeBron's IQ is through the roof.
Right.
But as far as infusing that team with a determination that we're going to win, we're going to play together, we're going to hustle. Because I don't care what your scheme is, nothing beats hustle.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, hey, let's go. You all got to run. We got to run this thing.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
I don't know, Quilly, what you see, man?
Well, I think first and foremost, I would have sized up. I think what Minnesota did in that first game, having 3 bigs to put on Jokic, definitely helped slow him down.
Mm-hmm.
From Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and then Naz Reid coming off the bench, definitely helped disrupt what Jokic had going on, because Jokic didn't have the most amazing series against the Lakers, but he wasn't very disrupted either.
Right.
You look at stats, he shot 59% from the field.
Right.
He averaged 28, basically 10 and 16. So I think Jokic had his way with the Lakers. Jackson Hayes barely played.
Right. And that's
doesn't
adjustment.
make much sense to me.
Right. That's why you bring him in. Why you have him come off the bench if he ain't gonna play?
He averaged 6 minutes a game. And one of the games he didn't even play out of the 5-game series. So I think I definitely would have sized up. I think we saw some good production out of Taurean Prince towards the end of the series when he started getting more minutes in the last 2 games. I would have brought him in a lot earlier as well. Because, you just want to have size against a team like Denver.
Right.
You don't want to go small.
Right.
They were not putting a body on Jamal Murray at all.
No, he was getting his way. He was having his way. He was getting to
Jamal
his
Murray
spot. He was getting to his sweet spot.
He hit 2 game winners on them
Right.
in this past series. Like they were just letting him freely dribble, get to whatever spot he wanted, and kind of did what he wanted with the offense. So I definitely would have bodied up on Jamal Murray, and I just would have sized up in general. Try to just take up more space on the floor because obviously perimeter defense is a problem. So you just want to take up more space. We don't need to be running 2 guard lineups with D'Lo and Reeves out there, or with Gabe Vincent and Reeves.
Right.
That just doesn't work
because they wasn't doing nothing.
Yeah,
Wasn't
and
helping.
Denver's not very small either.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a very small team, and you have dudes like Aaron Gordon, who was being a disruptor all series for them.
Remember we talked about him last week?
Man,
I told you
He was being a scrapper.
he's a dog, man.
he's a dog.
He's a dog.
He
Backdoor
understands his
cuts,
role.
Backdoor cuts, offensive rebounds. Just making good plays on the ball. It was little things like that, because every game out of that series, the Lakers led in the first half.
Right.
Every game.
Yep.
Every game, and they let it slip away in the second half because there were adjustments from Mike Malone. There were no adjustments from Darvin Ham, and the Lakers always started out good. They started out running, but once LeBron starts to get gassed in that second half, you have to have somebody else that picks up the slack.
Right.
Because Anthony Davis can't do everything.
Right.
And that's what I saw. That's what I saw in the Timberwolves series. Is like Ant got a little winded, so he got out. But look who stepped up. Karl Anthony Towns came in there and stepped up, played his game.
And the Wolves have size.
And they have size.
They're
size. You
a
have
big
Rudy in the
team.
middle, and like you said, you switching up on you switching. You give him Jokic, Rudy. You give him Ant. You give him different looks, and he don't know how to handle it. I mean, he gonna get his points because he's just that big and just that burly. He's just gonna back you into the rim and get it. But you got to make it hard for him, so he's a little winded himself. And then once he sees that, then he tried to kick out. But then their defense picked up on all facets.
Right.
In the Lakers series, I didn't see the defense pick up at all.
It did not.
So you have a Jackson Hayes out there, right? He's supposed to, give AD his breather. I'm using all my fouls because I ain't gonna get that much playing time. I'm using all my fouls.
And not only that, again, nobody on the Lakers except for LeBron had that killer instinct.
Nope.
When you're playing basketball, everything Quilly said is absolutely spot on. But I know for sure when you play in that game, all of them dudes on Minnesota's team are hyped up.
Yeah.
They all dogs right now because they got a big dog on their team, and he is not the tallest person. So it's not about size. It's about mentality. And Anthony Edwards, he refuses to lose without an effort. He ain't taking no plays off, no breaks or nothing. When he's on the floor, he's all out. And you cannot beat that. Oh, my goodness. I'm like, man, you need to put on the purple and gold. We need you, man.
We need you. LeBron's on the phone right now. Hey, Ant, yo, check it out. Check it out.
No, he ain't. LeBron's in Cancun. He's in Real Madrid. And is in the playoffs, second round, right?
Right.
And that, you know what's crazy? That was a thing that they said. They said if Minnesota, because a lot of people take Minnesota to win this series.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If Minnesota wins a game in Denver, that's trouble for Denver.
Yes, it is.
Because now they've come in and stole game one.
Right.
And it really wasn't no steal. They blew out
Yeah, they did.
Denver in their own home.
Start to finish.
That's a mindset change. Because now Denver's like,
Right.
we got to make some changes. And even when we made changes, we couldn't get with these dudes.
Right.
So here you go. So now they got to play game two. Now, if I was a bet man, I would say Denver is going to come out a little bit more energetic.
Yeah.
They're going to come out, focused on making shots. They're going to play defense. They're going to try to limit Ant-Man, all that. So I anticipate that they're going to step their game up. But you've already lost one.
Right.
And the next three after the second one are in Minnesota. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
You could conceivably.
0-2. Conceivably.
Now, if they lose the second game,
It's a wrap.
they got a chance of getting swept.
It's a wrap.
In Minnesota?
It's a wrap. I can tell you right now, if they lose the next game, it's a wrap. I'll bet on that right now. It's
Little
a wrap.
red Corvette. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a wrap. They're not a. I'm not confident in them getting one in Minnesota now.
Yeah.
So if they go to Minnesota down 0-2, it's definitely going to be a sweep. I mean, even with the way they made Phoenix look, they made Kevin Durant look like a role player.
Yep.
Oh my
Kevin
goodness.
Durant was spotting up, just standing there.
Man,
They had him looking like a role player.
Man, he was looking paltry.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
man.
it's definitely a scary sight for the West. Especially, I'm gonna say this now: if Minnesota comes out of this series, they're going to the finals.
Yeah, and they got a good chance of winning it.
Yeah, because then they'll
for sure.
So if they take this series, then they'll play either the Thunder or the Mavericks.
And neither of those teams can see
Neither of
Minnesota,
those
in my
teams.
opinion.
Now the Thunder's young.
Thunder's young, and I think Ant gonna come in there and dog him.
Oh my God.
So one of the things I looked at in the game, because I was like, basketball's over for me. The Lakers and lost. I ain't got time. I did have a little happiness in my life when the Clippers lost. Sorry.
All right, man. All right, man.
That was a little happiness in there because Kyrie put them handles on them. Oh, wee.
Let me wait a minute. Let's pause for a minute.
Did you see that, Quilly?
Quilly, game got to recognize game, Quilly. That fadeaway three,
man,
on the foul, in the corner, in your face, splash. Oh my gosh.
Hey, that's Kyrie Irving though.
That was Kyrie Irving.
Man,
Kyrie Irving's the upper echelon of skill in the NBA.
Oh man, when he hit that shot, I wanted to jump through the TV. I was like, oh my goodness, this fool.
If anybody's making that, it's gonna be Kyrie.
Yeah.
But the handles, man, the
handles is ridiculous.
Ooh,
Lucas too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but
I personally think Luka kind of got carried by Kyrie in that series. Because Luka's shooting numbers, especially from three, were abysmal.
Mm-hmm. So he became more of a facilitator, right? Luka.
Yeah, Kyrie became their scorer. Like, of course, Luka had his high scoring games, but this year definitely has been the most mild in terms of Luka offensively torching the Clippers. I think the last two series that he's had against us were like, he was really going crazy from an offensive standpoint. But I think that's just the Clippers had better defense this year. But the one thing that's been a pretty consistent thing the past few playoffs, Kawhi Leonard's absence.
Man, what y'all gonna do, Quilly?
Man,
I think they're going to blow it up.
You think so?
You think so? You think
I think
Steve
they're going to
Ballmer
go into this new arena, new clean slate.
Does Kawhi put on the purple and gold?
I don't think the Lakers would want him personally.
I think if you put him with LeBron, I think he would want to play. Well, you know what Kawhi does? He does his own thing, man.
And he doesn't want to play with LeBron. That's why he didn't go to the Lakers.
See, and that's the bad business decision. You should have went with the Lakers.
Okay, so talking about blowing it up, there's rumors out there that Paul George might be going to Philly.
Exactly.
I don't care where Paul George is going. Career is over.
That's the rumor, though. They're saying if Paul George goes to Philly, that might be the extra piece that they need to get him over the top.
It will not be the extra piece.
I know that. I know that.
Yeah, I've seen the rumors about Paul
Goodbye.
George probably going to Philly. I think they're gonna blow it up. I think the Clippers are gonna go back to being a poverty franchise for
in a brand new arena.
Time. Because we traded our future away for Paul George. So
right.
Yeah, you all did.
Ooh-wee.
They done put all this money into this rebrand that they're doing, and we're gonna have no All-Stars playing in those new uniforms. So.
Quilly, you sound a little despondent.
Man. Come on, man.
You sound a little upset, Quilly Quill.
What do you think?
Quilly, you sound a little, just a little upset.
What do you think? This was the year. I already told y'all before.
You borderline pissed off, Quilly. What's up?
I told y'all if we were gonna win a chip in the Kawhi era, it would have been this year, and that did not happen. Wow. I don't think it's gonna happen at all.
The aspirations were high, though.
They had,
of course,
they had a whole bunch of players too.
They had everybody they needed. They got the coach saying
they do. To me, James Harden was past his prime.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, he is past his prime, but he was a facilitator for us.
Right.
It was working out.
I don't know what happened to Westbrook. Where he
wasn't even there, was he?
Where the rest?
Did he even take the flight to Dallas?
Hey, they was daring that man to shoot. They were giving him the Ben Simmons.
Did he play? Did Westbrook play?
I mean, he might as well not have played.
Because I don't remember seeing him on the floor. And I'm like, whoa, did he even make it to the Dallas airport?
Man, let me tell you something. They're gonna blow that team all the way up.
I agree.
But Steve Ballmer is not a billionaire for no reason. He gonna figure. I think he's gonna figure out a way to get somebody.
I mean,
here.
Nobody is.
But nobody
what could we possibly get?
Nobody wants to go to Los Angeles to play for the Clippers.
Not the Clippers.
Exactly. And what are people about to give up for Paul George and banged up Kawhi?
Yeah,
man,
they're going to have to rebuild through the draft, and that's going to take years.
That's what I'm saying. We
at
traded
least
our
3
future away.
Right, at least 3 years.
We traded so many picks away getting Paul George, which was understandable at the time because it was the only way we were going to get Kawhi, who was the Finals MVP. And the year before that season, Paul George was runner-up in MVP voting. So I understand why they made the trade at the time. It's just been a series of unfortunate events that have transpired since then. And,
I think
that's why we're here now.
I think and I told you this, Quilly. I think the James Harden thing was a bad idea.
I don't think it was.
You know why? You know why I say that? Because Tyronn Lue's message was, "Well, we're good," and then Harden came in, and we had to make a few adjustments, to pretty much facilitate and give him what he wanted, give him the space on the floor that he wanted. I'm thinking I don't see that because he's a scorer. And you asking him to do something outside his realm. You asking him to be a facilitator.
He hasn't been a main scorer since he left Houston.
Yeah,
when he was in Philly, he was a facilitator.
But he's dribble. Okay, 2 seconds on the clock. Okay, passed away.
Nah, not anymore. No, he was definitely he definitely turned into more of a true point guard in Philly. And that's exactly why they brought him to the Clippers, because we needed a point guard. And that's what he was for us.
So why didn't he work in Philly though?
Because you have Joel Embiid on that team, and Joel Embiid was hurt in the playoffs last year too. So that's why they lost.
Well, I got a little different take on James Harden.
Okay, let's go with it.
James Harden, to me, has never been a person that plays well in the sandbox.
Okay.
And so his attitude is kind of standoffish. He's not a team guy per se. You know what? I'm on the outside looking in. That's what it looks like, right? That's the vibe I get. That he's not a person that, you're not going to really hang out with. You're not going to build connections. And that's the thing with playoff basketball. Playoff basketball is not just about the basketball itself. It is about the relationships and knowing each other, knowing where each other's going to be. That's why Magic and the Lakers were so good for so many years, because Magic understood each one of his players. He understood each one of the guys that was on his team from 1 to 15. He understood what their strengths were, where they were going to be. He understood that I'm not going to let Byron Scott bring the ball up, but if Byron runs with me, I'm going to hit Byron off on the right side. He's going to either shoot a 3 or he's going to dunk. I know if I get the ball to James Worley down in the key, he's going to lay it up, all right? I know if I get the ball to Kareem on the right block or the left block, he's going to fake right, go left, and he's going to do that sky hook on the baseline. He knew Michael Cooper was a defensive genius, but he also needed his looks at the basket. He knew each one of his players. Mm-hmm. He knew them, and that's what won the championship, because they had relationship with each other to the point where Magic knew where they were going to be so much, so he started doing no-look passes, and you're like, ooh, that was already Magic.
Right. Right.
So if you don't have relationship with your team, and if you don't understand how to connect with your teammates and to make everybody feel comfortable, like, yeah, let's get the ball in James Harden's hand, because we know when it comes out of his hand, you better be in position so that he can get you the ball to score the basketball. It wasn't like that. James Harden is not like that.
He's not built like that.
He is a scorer. He's a shoot first,
right,
pass second dude.
Right.
So I get what you're saying, Quilly. I just when I'm looking at basketball, you got to have a solid point guard, and The Timberwolves have a solid point guard. Mike Conley
You're right. He knows
is a
his role.
solid point guard. He understands his role. He's a point guard. So he's not going to score a whole bunch of points, but he's going to make sure everybody's in position. Ant-Man is a straight dog. Karl Anthony Towns is a force in the middle. And you got the other two pieces. They round out the whole team. So, it's the same thing with Denver. Denver have all the pieces.
Yep.
They have all the pieces.
Got everybody in position they need to be
Everybody's
in.
in position.
Okay.
So, it's one of them things.
So now let's talk. Let's talk playoffs. Let's talk playoffs.
Uh-oh.
You ready for this, Quilly? You ready for this?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you know what's the teams that are left.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell me who's going to win the series and who has the dog in them.
Uh-oh.
So we got
Okay.
Celtics, Cavs.
I think I got Celtics in 5 or 4.
You think Tatum's that dog?
Not necessarily. It's just the Celtics are an incredibly deep team that Tatum doesn't necessarily need to be a dog right now.
So you don't believe in Donovan?
No, not to that degree. No. I mean, he hasn't done it before with what he had in Utah, because he had a great team in Utah. He had Rudy Gobert. He had Mike Conley. He had what Anthony Edwards has now. But he just couldn't get it done. I mean, you saw the Clippers dethrone him on a year that should have been a deep run for him. But I'm just not a believer in in Donovan Mitchell. I don't think I will be until he proves me wrong.
And he's another one. He's another one. He's a scorer. He's not a facilitator. He's a scorer.
Who, Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell. He's a scorer.
Yeah.
And I think Donovan Mitchell's kind of one-dimensional, because if he's not scoring, what is he doing?
True. I've seen that. I've watched a couple of games. I've seen him just, like you said, if he ain't scoring, if it ain't going, ball ain't going in the hole, then he's a liability up there. He's not a good defensive player,
but he is a leader.
He's a leader.
He is their leader.
He has to be
He's
their
having
leader.
a better-
Who else going to be the leader on that team?
That's what I'm saying. He is their undisputed leader, and he's fearless, though. Of all the stuff we're talking about, which I agree with, I agree with everything that you all are saying, but I know that his heart is big. He will go up against anybody. And that gives other people on his team confidence that they can do that too. He will challenge anybody. And I love that about him. He's not the biggest dude, right? What is he? 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", something like that?
He's 6'3".
Little dude. Like Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was on 6'4"? So, man, you look at it, he's fearless. He is going to go to the hole. He's going to challenge. He's physical. And he's going to make sure that his team is going to challenge who's ever in front of him. That's the same thing Michael Jeffrey Jordan did. He would take on the biggest giant he would take on the biggest giant the other team had.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Yeah.
So, Quilly,
What's up?
let's go to Knicks Pacers.
I got Knicks in 5 or 6.
What you say?
5 or 6? You give Pacers
5
that
or
much
6.
credit?
I think, the Knicks are still an injured team. They still don't have Julius Randle, which may be better for them right now.
Why was I thinking the same thing?
But I don't know from a size point of view, front court wise, if the Knicks have enough size dealing with Indiana. But they do have a Jalen Brunson on their team.
Yes,
So,
sir.
That's definitely the dog of the series.
Yes,
I think
sir.
Tyrese Halliburton started the season hot, but after All-Star break, he kind of was an afterthought for sure.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a Knicks win. The Pacers were struggling with a Bucks team with no Dame and no Giannis.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're definitely not ready.
You know what's crazy about Jalen Brunson?
What's that?
Jalen Brunson is all left, and they still can't stop him.
Right. They can't stop him. That's a dog.
That reminds me of somebody I used to play in the gym with. This dude was all left. I'm left-handed myself, but I could go right. This dude was all left, but nobody could stop him.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson goes left. You know it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he gets the ball, he's going to take a couple dribbles right, and you know he's coming
going
back left. And they still cannot stop him.
So how would you guard a Jalen Brunson
I would run some double teams at him
to get it out of his hand?
Mm-hmm. That's what they did. The Magic tried to do at the end, but the game pretty much had already been decided, even though it's coming down to the last minute. But from the beginning, I would throw a couple dudes at him. I would do a half-court trap. I would force him to get rid of the ball. I would not let him put the ball on the floor, because as soon as he puts the ball on the floor, that's where he gets away from people.
Cooked.
Yeah. So I make him give the ball up. Make him be a player that's like Steph Curry, where he runs around without the ball and he gets open, has to take a shot. Jalen Brunson's not that dude. Jalen Brunson creates his own shot. And so I would force him to give the ball up, right? I would say, let's force him to get the ball up and let's see what the other three dudes do. So even if you got three other dudes, okay, so what that means for the Knicks is you got two on Brunson, so you're uneven. So that means somebody's open. Whoever the open person is, make a shot.
There you go.
Prove me. Prove it to me that you can do that.
Because DiVincenzo's going to, if he's hot, he's going to hit.
Right.
If he's not hot, he ain't going to hit.
Same thing with Josh Hart.
Josh Hart, no.
That's who I don't want getting the ball is Dante DiVincenzo. I don't want him in catch and shoot situations, because that's probably the dangerous option outside of Jalen Brunson.
But he got to be hot though. He got to
right. He got to hit a couple.
He's what you would call a streaky shooter.
Right.
Right.
And Josh Hart is just trying to be that dog, trying to be that deep. How you gonna let a dude like that lead and rebounding?
Because he's determined. That's what I'm saying about this. Man, this game is so different, man. Yeah. Basketball is not about the biggest person. It's about how determined you are to get it done. And so size is only important because it's a tall man's game. But don't get it twisted. Them mid-sized dudes be getting it in.
Man.
Going to the right.
Man.
Right? Getting rebounds. And so Josh Hart is that dude. He's an East Coast dude. I think he's from UConn. Not UConn. He's from Villanova, right?
Yeah.
From Villanova. So that's back east. That's Philly, right? That's Philly basketball. And Philly basketball is tough nose. You come on, man. You tough.
And they got the right coach for it. He gonna run you hard.
Yeah.
But you're gonna win.
So he's used to that. So he's in the right place. So you got some dogs. Jalen Brunson's also from Villanova.
Yep.
Right? And DiVincenzo. Yeah, so you got three dudes from Villanova. They know each other. Right? And so that's chemistry. That's another thing about basketball is chemistry.
It's got to work.
Yeah, you got to know who you're playing with.
Got to work.
So that's an interesting series, man.
Yes, it is. This is Ray on Sports with Johnny Ray and my guest. I don't know if they're going to be guests or co-hosts, but they coming in.
Oh, come on, man.
We got Arquill Sayles and Big Mike in the building. Okay, yes, Quilly, so we got one more. Thunder Mavs.
I think the Mavs win. I think I always said whoever's coming out of that Clippers-Mavericks series was going to beat OKC because they just don't have the experience for one.
That's good.
They're not a very defensively savvy team either. I think, of course, Chet Holmgren, he can get blocks here and there, but he's not a traditional big.
No.
He doesn't have the size.
No.
He's not bumping anybody out the way. He's getting bumped out the way. Of course, you got SGA, who's the star of their team. But, I think the Thunder played with a lot of energy and a lot of pace during the regular season, and that's what led them to their victories. It definitely wasn't defense, though.
No, it wasn't. But they call themselves the dogs, though.
They can call themselves that all they want, but who's guarding Luka? Who's guarding Kyrie?
You're right.
I think Daniel Gafford's going to have his way with Chet down there.
Yeah.
Chet is not doing much with that down there. It's going to be a long series for him.
Yeah, like I said, I don't curse, but Chet is lighting, and you know what?
Chet ain't got it.
Well, Chet got skill, but like Quilly said, Chet is a perimeter player.
Yeah, he is.
Right?
He is.
This is a time when you need somebody down low. That's why the Lakers were so dominant when it was Shaq and Kobe. Right? Because you had an inside-outside presence. Right? Yep. And Shaq was such a monster inside.
Right.
Didn't nobody want to deal with him.
Nope.
Look, you got a potential 7-game series. You got to deal with this dude seven games.
Yep.
7'1", 285 to 320 pounds.
Pounded on you.
Pounded on you. And would try to dunk it on you every time he got it.
Every time.
Didn't nobody want to see that, man.
No.
Didn't nobody want to see that. And he had a young Kobe with the afro. Balling?
Man.
Come on, man. Didn't nobody want to see them dudes?
Man.
And then you had Big Shot Rob.
Nobody wanted to see him.
Rob Horry got the most rings out of anybody. He got 7. He's 7 deep.
You got B. Shaw. You got D. Fish.
Man.
They had some dogs.
They had squad.
Oh, and then you had Rick Fox ready to throw down any minute.
Man. Rick was dirty with it, man. He from North Carolina. Come on, man.
Man.
Rick he'll fight you.
Man. What you think, Quilly? What you think?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tough series for the Thunder for sure. SGA gonna have to come up with some magic. I think he's gonna have to come up with some magic. Because that little 31 he be getting on like 12 free throws a game is not going. That's not happening in the playoffs. You're not getting all them free throws.
Right. It's playoff basketball.
And SGA is not a good perimeter shooter from 3 either. No. Of course, if he's in a flow of the game and he's been slashing all game and he gets his 2 or 3 open threes and makes 2 of them, that's cool. But if he's not making it at the cup and then tries to, spread out and start hitting threes, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Quilly, you spot on with that.
I don't see the Thunder coming out,
man,
to the conference finals because they just don't have experience.
They don't have.
SGA now played his 4th playoff game, which was that game 4 against the Pelicans. That was his 4th playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have the experience. Simple. Luka's been to a conference finals. Even if it was a pharmacy run, some people may call it whatever. He's been to the conference finals. Kyrie has a ring.
Right.
So it's definitely going to be a long series for the Thunder. And yeah, I think I do see a conference finals in the West being Mavericks, TWolves.
Okay, so with that being said, give me you guys' pick for the NBA Finals from what you've seen so far. Anyone?
I'm going to say Boston and Minnesota.
Quilly?
I don't know. I feel like the Knicks can upset Boston. For some reason, I feel that way. Just because of the energy they're playing with right now. The way they had Philly. They don't necessarily have a good matchup for Joel Embiid, but they were able to contain him.
Plus, he was hurt too, man. He wouldn't.
Yeah, he was hurt, but he just wasn't able to get to his spots like he normally would. And it's like you have Isaiah Hartenstein guarding you. Like it's not even like you have a big that's really defensively profound.
Right.
And it's like I understand Joel was hurt and things like that.
That's good, Quilly.
But
I can see the
ideally,
Knicks.
it would be Boston.
I can see the Knicks doing that, but I think Boston. I think Jaylen Brown and Tatum will show up.
You think so?
I think they both. If they both show up, then they got a good chance to win that series because they're going to need Jaylen Brown to show up. They're going to need D. White to show up too. Now that he didn't cut that hair off. Yeah. Oh my God! Did you see that hairline last year?
Yeah, I saw that hairline earlier. Where does the head stop and the hair begin? Man.
If we was street ball, that hairline would have been a topic of conversation.
Man.
Hey man, why your hairline start in the middle of your head? You like you got a zipper on your hairline. What's wrong with you, man?
See, that's Big Mike coming out right there. That's Big Mike coming out.
What's wrong with your hairline, player? Why is your head so shiny? Half of your head.
Ooh-wee.
Your last name should be Cranium. D Cranium.
Man, oh man.
That's what I'm saying,
I don't know,
man. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I feel like we've been saying this whole Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum needs to show up for the past 5-6 years now.
Right.
That's true.
And of course, they got to the finals last year, but they are in the weaker conference at that. Like they've always been, the East has always been the weaker conference.
Yeah, for a while.
So
And they won't have Porzingis.
Confident,
and they won't have Porzingis.
Porzingis is hurt, which is that's a big loss
huge
for them.
That's huge.
Man, you right, Quilly. They may not make it out the East.
They may not.
You know what, Quilly? I told Ray this last week. I said when they let go of Marcus Smart, that was a huge mistake. I would have never traded Marcus Smart. The reason is because Marcus Smart wasn't the best shooter. He wasn't the best, but he was tough, and that's what they needed. He was tough when it counted, and that toughness right now would do them well. And they don't have that toughness like that. Marcus Smart was absolutely tough. Another player I see like Marcus Smart, but he's more demonstrative, is Patrick Beverly. But you don't know what Pat Bev is going to do.
You don't know which one you're going to get.
He crazy. You don't know what Pat Bev going to do.
Right.
But Marcus Smart was that dude where, right, he wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest, wasn't the strongest, but he definitely was a lion out there. He was an alpha male that would take on anybody. And they need that mentality now.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily see them. So if they lose, it's not because of skill. It's because they don't have anybody that can take on the other person's tough guy.
Yeah.
Right.
I can see that.
Now, I don't know if Indiana has a tough guy.
I don't know. I don't even know nobody.
But to
from
get
Indiana.
to the finals, you usually need a tough guy.
Who do you know? Well, Quilly, you know this like this. Who's on Indiana? Who's they starting five?
Ooh, they full starting five. I know they got Halliburton and Miles Turner, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think Neesmith is starting for them right now. I'm not even sure. I don't think I can name their shooting guard for sure.
I can't name nobody besides Halliburton, and that's it.
They got, Neesmith.
Oh, they got Pascal too, though, right?
Yeah, Pascal Siakam, who I believe is starting at small forward for them right now.
Yeah.
But Siakam, he's just kind of a shell of what he was in Toronto.
Right.
I can't say they have a tough guy though.
Right. All right. Well, we got about 5-10 more minutes. So tell me this, and either one can chime in on this. When you pull a player that used to have it, and you put them on your team, and you think they still got it, and they don't have it, what do you do?
Wait, you say that again?
So we talking about Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in Toronto, he was the dog. He was that. Now, Quilly just said that he's a shell of what he used to be. When you trade for somebody like that and you don't get it out of him, what do you do? What can you do? Because now you're stuck with him. For whatever you signed him for, now you're stuck with him. What do you do? Talking about a Pascal. We're talking about a Harden. We talk about in some sorts, we could talk about a KD. You trade for these dudes, and then they don't take you to the promised land.
I think, you just have to help the player establish whatever his new role is. Whatever that's going to be. If he's, going from being the main scorer to more of a 15-point-a-night guy or something like that, I think, it takes work from the player and, the development team to find out what that player's new role is going to be. If he's going to be that catch and shooter, or he's going to be that second option, or, whatever it may be. Kind of similar to what happened when Harden got to Philly, going from, being a leading scorer in Houston to now averaging 18 and 10, 18 and 10, 17 and 10. I think, that's just kind of the route you have to go. Because, if the guy's just not going to be what he was before, you got to find something else that may work.
Right. Now, I just mortgaged my franchise on you. And you ain't taking me where I need to go, Big Mike.
What?
I just mortgaged my franchise to bring you in. And I don't see no banners being hung.
You talk about Siakam?
I'm talking about Siakam. I'm talking about Harden. I'm talking about KD. Now, Phoenix mortgaged you could say Phoenix mortgaged the franchise to get this dude. And he in Cancun right now. What are you saying as an owner?
Blow it up. Blow it up. Devin Booker's unhappy.
You think so?
Yes. Devin Booker's unhappy. Because they didn't been in this position. He got to the finals and they lost.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he's been in the playoffs, but he wants to win.
Right.
So he's unhappy. You got Bradley Beal, and he never really materialized. You got a KD whose age is beginning to show. Mm-hmm. And so it might be time to blow it up.
But they can't afford to blow it up.
Somebody will take KD because at the very least, KD's a shooter. Right. So even if you put KD around 4 dudes that can run and you get him spot up shots and, he don't have to really move or take a couple dribbles left, right, what have you, can pull up, get to a spot, he can still do that. He's 7 foot, right? That's what a lot of people forget. KD is 7 feet just about. Right? He's 6'11". So he can get, and he's long. And so he can get to wherever he wants to get to on the court. But he is a defensive liability now. Right. And so and that's the thing. Some of these GMs you build for the regular season, but you're not building for playoffs. Right. You're not building for playoffs. And so you traded, didn't they? Who was their big man?
Yusuf. What, Nurkic?
No, it was DeAndre.
Oh,
Ayton. Why would you trade that? That's a young dude.
Right.
Why would you trade him? Right? He just needs the right motivation to get going. Mm-hmm. But you traded him. That was your center right there. And he was showing flashes of greatness, every now and then. Mm-hmm. And so what they did was they tried, like you said, they tried to win now. Right. And it backfired. Mm-hmm. Blow it up. Blow it up. Now, Pascal Siakam, the thing about him, I'm looking at his stats. He's 30. He's 30 years old, right? Mm-hmm. He's not from the U.S. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if anybody talked to him. See, because no. Listen to me. The psychology of the game is when you get traded, you don't understand the dynamics of a trade, and usually the way you get traded will affect you, right? Because it's a ruthless game, right? The business of it is ruthless, and so when you look at it, I don't even know if he knew he got traded.
What do you mean?
Do you know that's how they trade a lot of people?
Right. Well, yeah, no, I've heard that where they say I woke up the next morning and read the ticker and
did he know he got traded? And so that takes a psychological effect that if you're not used to that, that's why it don't affect Patrick Beverly. He's going to do whatever he's going to do, right? Because he's used to being traded. There are some players that are used to being traded on a regular basis. He's not. He got drafted by
Toronto, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's Toronto's first pick.
Wow.
Right? 2016, round 1, pick number 27, Toronto.
Wow.
Pascal Siakam. And he's from a different country, like Africa or something, right? And so that mentality, that loyalty that he's looking for, he didn't get.
He didn't get it.
And so when you don't get that loyalty that you're looking for, and you're not from the U.S. in a sense where you're not used to being traded and you're treated more as a commodity than a person. That has a psychological effect on him. And so I don't think, like Quilly said, he is a shell of himself right now. But he's still got a couple good years in him. He's only 30 years old. Right. Somebody needs to get a hold of him and feed into him and getting back to where he could be, because I still believe he has a lot of game left in him, at least 5 years.
Okay.
But somebody would have to get to him, because right now I think his mentality is shook.
Because he got traded.
Wow. Right? And he may not have wanted to get traded. He loved Toronto. Yeah. He grew to love Toronto. And so, okay, it's hard because one day you playing, the next day, oh man, you got traded. Clear your locker out.
Man.
What? Baseball just did that. The Padres just traded for last year's batting champion, right?
Right.
And so some of the players they got were coming from the minor leagues. So in the minor league game yesterday, they stopped the game, took the dude that was running off of second base.
What?
Who had got traded.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
There were 2 players. This is in the middle of a minor league game.
Took him off the field.
Took him off the field.
Wow.
You see that? It's like that.
That's ruthless.
And that's why, you know what? Now let me change sports again. That's why, what's his name? What little man that played football? Number 84 for the Steelers. What's his name, Quilly?
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. That's why he went crazy when he was playing with the with the Jets, right? Wasn't it with the Jets, or was it with
It was when he went to the Bucks.
To the Bucks,
Bucks,
Tampa Bay Bucks,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And so he's playing, and he's telling the dude, "You're hurt." The dude is saying, "You're not hurt."
Wow.
Right? He says, "Man, I'm hurt."
Wow.
He said, "You ain't gonna believe me. I'm gonna
Wow.
take off all this. You know what?" So
Wow.
that's what I'm saying. The business side, if you're not ready for it,
Mm-hmm.
it will throw you for a loop.
Yes, it will.
It will absolutely take your mind
Yes, it will.
because you're thinking this team is going to be loyal to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about GM, that's the thing I hate about GM. At least have the decency and say, "Hey,
let me
man,
know.
you on the trading block, or are we looking to trade you?
Right. Tell me something.
Tell me something.
Right.
Don't let me wake up and find out on the news I've been traded.
Or go to the facility and it's locked.
Yeah, your passcode don't work anymore."
Wow.
And so that that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Pascal Siakam. I'm like, man, this dude, and nobody ever speaks to that.
No.
Nobody. Hey, man, how you doing mentally?
Right.
Right.
Right. You just got traded.
Right. How you feeling? What's going on, man? Maybe they did. I don't know. But he's 6'8", 245, 30 years old. Got a lot of game left in him.
But they traded him. Wow.
And we don't know if his trade was to his knowledge. Did he know he was getting traded?
Right.
Did he know how quick it was going to happen? Right. So if he didn't know that, and him being from another country, that's going to affect you.
Right. And I think Toronto did it to clear. I believe, Quilly, if I'm correct, they did it to clear up cap space, right?
I don't think I don't know if it was even just to clear up cap space. I just think they were making some moves because that was when they traded OG as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got Dennis for a little bit, and then he went somewhere else. I think they were trying to shake it up because guys like Scotty Barnes had kind of taken that top spot over Pascal. And so I think they were trying to just be younger in general because they went and got Emmanuel quickly from the Knicks and gave them OG. They got Bruce Brown from the Pacers. So I think they were just trying to get a little younger with their team because I think Toronto understands they're in a rebuild right now.
And they got RJ Barrett too.
Right.
Yeah, they got RJ. They got rid of Kyle Lowry, I believe last season. So they're just trying to start young and kind of rebuild something new over there. So I think that's what the main motivation was.
Right. All right. Well, we can keep going on this subject, but we didn't win almost an hour on this thing.
Man, we still ain't talking about no NFL.
We still ain't talking about. Now, Quilly, let me talk to you. Are you
man.
available again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going to come back. We might come back in the next episode and talk some NFL.
Man, we got to talk some NFL.
Because Big Mike is sitting there just chomping at the bits,
Come
ready
on,
to go,
man.
ready to go,
I'm
ready to
talk
go.
about some NFL.
Ready to go. But we gonna cut on this episode of Ray on Sports, and I'm your host, Johnny Ray. Thank you for taking this ride. Thank you for sitting in the car. Thank you for buckling up your seatbelts. I want to also thank my guests, Big Mike.
Yes, sir.
And Quilly Quill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Quilly, you want me to call you Quilly? You want me to call you Arquill? What you want me to call you?
Hey, it's whatever y'all want to go with. Whatever y'all want to go with. It ain't no problem.
It ain't no problem. All right, then. So, once again, this is Johnny Ray for Ray on Sports, and I'm cutting out right now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys listening to my podcast. Stephen A. Smith, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, baby.
Stephen A. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
That's right.
Until next week. I'll see you guys later.